good to you. You need a bad boy to blow your mind. Your mind. Into the room. I know you want it. All over you. Wait a minute, let me take you there. Wait a minute till you. Bang, bang, there goes your heart. I know you want it. Back seat of my car.
Oh, I'll let you have it.
Wait a minute, let me take you there.
Hey guys, how are you today? So today I am doing a fall DIY video. These are just little fall decorations. I put them out sort of more in my living room area, but they're all things that you can incorporate into your bedroom. I make a garland, I make these cute little pumpkins, this little framed metallic leaf, and I make these gorgeous glittery pine cones, which are totally my favorite. So I really hope that you guys enjoy this because I am in love with all these things, and a lot of them are really great transitions into Christmas time, so you won't have to worry about changing up your decorations too much. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into the video. So this first DIY is so simple and so customizable because you can pretty much do whatever you want. I just picked up these pumpkins from Michael's, and these are actually really cool because they're fake, but they're carvable. So when you're there, it'll be on this big display with some carving knives, and you can actually carve this fake pumpkin. And I think that's a really cool idea because then it can't go bad and you can do whatever you want with it, and I think that's really awesome. But that's not what we're doing in this video. I wanted to paint some different designs onto these pumpkins. So on this first pumpkin, I'm just painting a few arrows, just because I thought that would be cute. I saw a picture of a pumpkin that looked like this, and so as you can see, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. You can just paint whatever you want onto there in whatever colors you want, and I just think it's really cool that you can pretty much do whatever you want with this DIY. For this next pumpkin, I decided just to do a triangle design all over it. As you can see, it's like alternating upside down and right side up triangles, and I just sort of spaced it out across the pumpkin, so I would like skip a little ridge of the pumpkin and then repeat the design again, and I just did this all around the pumpkin 360. And here are the finished products for both pumpkins. I absolutely love the way these came out. Like I said, I love that they're super customizable and you can make a million of them and you can make them match your space exactly the way that you want them to. So go get yourself some fake pumpkins and some paint and go wild. So this is my favorite DIY that I'm showing you. You want to start off by figuring out how many pine cones are going to fit inside the little bowl that you're going to put them in, or however you're going to do them. You just want to sort of check out how they're going to fit in whatever container. That way you know how many you need to glitter. So then what you're going to do is take some sort of glue. I'm just using Mod Podge on a paintbrush, and you're just going to start painting sort of the edges of the pine cone. I'm doing the top of the pine cone right now, which I want to be super glittery, so I added a lot more glue up there than I do throughout the rest of the pine cone. On the rest of it, I just sort of paint the edges of the pine cone and just onto the slight tops of the little spiky guys that come out of a pine cone. I don't know what those are called. Pine spikes. And then all you do is shake some glitter onto them and then shake off the excess glitter. And if you do it over top of a piece of paper like I am, then you can just put the excess glitter back into the container and not waste any glitter, which is really great. And once you're all finished with that, you can set those aside to dry. And I apologize that I went out of frame for this next part, but I basically just took a piece of string and added some Mod Podge on top of it. That way it would keep the string in place. And then I wrapped the string around just a few more times, crossing over that little Mod Podge patch. That way it would all stick. And then I just tied a bow onto it. And I just thought that this made it look a little bit more fall and a little bit more rustic, which is really what I was going for with this DIY, as sort of a contradiction from the glitter to the rustic part of it. And here is the finished product. I seriously love these. These are my favorite thing that I show you in this video. I think that they're so cute, and these are seriously the ultimate transition from fall into Christmas time. Glittery pine cones like screams Christmas to me, and fall. So I absolutely love the way that these came out, and I really hope that you guys make these because I think they're so gorgeous. So to start off this next DIY, you're going to spray your leaf with metallic paint in an area that is safe to spray paint in. I did mine inside a box, that way spray paint didn't get everywhere. And once you are finished with that, you're going to set that aside to dry, and you can start making the background for the leaf. So I just used the little piece of glass that comes inside the frame to outline the size of how big the piece of glass is, and then I just made sort of a rough cut of that area. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't want to cut it exactly right, because then you're going to have to make sure that you cut it very specifically to fit inside, and you could end up with some gaps. So I always like to do this better. And then I just sort of stick the paper inside of the frame and use my finger to press down so I can see exactly how big it is inside of the frame. And then I can arrange the leaf onto here, and I learned this the hard way, but do not glue it on top of the piece of paper like I did, because it gets really hot and sort of melty, and it melted just a little bit, just slightly onto my paper and left just a little smudge, as you can see. But also be very careful, because the leaf really does heat up, so you want to make sure that you don't burn yourself. But once you have that glued down, you can go ahead and stick it inside the frame, and you're done. This one is so easy, and I think it's so cute, and a really great way to bring color into a sort of more fall themed thing. I think this is still super girly and bright, which I love, but it still sort of feels like fall in it. So to start off our garland, what you're going to do is take a piece of wire, and you're going to sort of bend it and stick it inside the pine cone, and then wrap the wire around the pine cone. You just sort of want to get it in there, really inside the pine cone, and you're just going to twist it all the way up. And when you get to the top, you're going to cut it, and then you're going to bend the excess at the top into a little loop. So basically you're just twirling it through the pine cone, creating a loop, and then stringing it onto your garland. And once it's on there, you want to tie a knot onto the pine cone. That way it stays in place and it doesn't slide around. So here's another look at what I did. Once again, you bend the wire first, and then you stick it inside the pine cone and twist it around. That way it's super nice and secure inside the pine cone. Then you're going to cut the wire and use the excess to make a loop, and then you're going to string it onto your garland and tie it in a knot. I'm going to let you watch this a few more times fast forwarded, that way you can get a better idea of how to do it if you're still not totally grasping the concept. But I think it's pretty easy, and it was super easy to get the hang of once you figure out sort of the technique. So now I went ahead and took down my summery garland, which I had hanging on my entertainment system, and switched it out for my gorgeous pine cone garland. Basically, when you put the little command hooks on there, you're going to want to wrap the string around the command hook one time. That way it just stays in place. Otherwise the pine cones are really heavy, so they just pull the string down and it doesn't stay as well. And this takes a little bit of trial and error to figure out how they're going to fit, but once you figure it out, it looks gorgeous. Make sure that you measure out the string length before you do it. This is obviously the length that I wanted mine to be at, but you want to make sure that you create the right size garland for your space. And this is how it turned out. I think it looks absolutely beautiful and is probably tied for my favorite with the glittery pine cones. And this isn't really a DIY, but I thought I would show you. I just had this little blue vase, and so I picked up these little things from Michael's to stick in there and make the blue a little bit more fall-y. And that's it for today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. I think that all these decorations are so cute and just perfect to start transitioning your room into a more fall sort of space. My apartment in general is really bright, and it really concentrates on bright blues and bright greens, so I was sort of struggling on ways to incorporate fall into that, since it's sort of a strange combination of things. Like, you don't see much bright blue and bright green in fall. So I think I did a pretty good job of finding ways to incorporate fall while still not messing up my entire decor. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Leave requests for more fall videos down below, because I want to know what you want to see in this fall season. I'm super excited for some things that are coming up, and I will keep you in the loop about all of that as much as I can.